Well, here we are again. It is Wednesday morning now, June 17th. Mike Myers, I know you're there. Thanks for joining us today. Radio Hope.
Hi.
Uh, um, I feel like now I'm a news reporter. You know, it's the 17th of June and it's 8 a.m. and here's what's going on. No, but seriously, what is going on with you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I didn't partake as much yesterday in adult beverages, and I'm realizing that I just need to be a little careful. It's good. Life is good.
You,
I've
you
been reading
go for it. You're bringing,
reports. I've been reading Alcoholics Anonymous.
and how's that been going for you? A serious question.
And it's yes. Well, when I got to the chapter called "They Stopped in Time," this one's really. In fact, I read the entire chapter to the wife yesterday. There are people that lose everything because they don't stop in time,
Mm.
and maybe I'm one of those that is going to stop in time. I don't know.
So you feel like but you're not back drinking every day, though, are you?
Yeah, but not. I guess did it keep me from functioning?
Right.
No. But the minute you start waking up with a headache,
Mm.
you might want to stop and think about why you're doing what you're doing.
So let me ask you, did you wake up this morning with a headache?
No, because had you been listening.
I am listening. I'm just...
Well, we'll go back and never mind, because we did this before and I was wrong, and I don't like being wrong.
No, but you're right. As long as you're moderate, I think it's still okay. In my view, anyway. I think it's still fine if you're moderate.
Yeah, absolutely, and I guess, but I think the question still must be asked: why? Why do people? Is it because they feel peaceful?
Mm.
Do they feel a little? Take the edge off? Are they able to maybe interact with the babes?
Liquid courage is what they call that, man. That's what they call that.
Liquid courage.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you are a guy. I was going to call you Adam. Alex, love you, man.
Well, look, I've been down that road before, right? I think we all have. So who's to say we shouldn't talk about it? We've all been there. Come on.
But you've been down that road at a much younger. Well, no, I guess I remember. My mom, one time I was really drunk.
Okay.
My mom made me go to work.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad because sometimes it's the toughest thing when you're hungover. You don't want to do anything. At least she pushed you to do it.
And you know what's sad is that she feels bad that she did that. And I said, Mom, that was the best thing you could have done for me. If you're going to play, you're going to pay.
Right. Was it a life-changing experience, though? That specific moment where she said you have to go to work, or?
Yeah, I lost total disrespect. I totally disrespected my mom from that point on, and I quit loving her.
Mm.
No, I didn't. I'm kidding.
Mike,
I'm sorry.
Mike, I don't know. I don't know about you sometimes. But no, this is what...
Most of the time.
No, I mean, there have been times where I wanted to do something, but it's a blizzard and I shouldn't do it, so I didn't do it. But there were times.
What, rollerblade?
No, go to a birthday party at a bar in the blizzard. I was about to do that, but...
Okay, so you started it. So I ended up going to Laura's. We were going to go roller skating in the big town of Ogden, where she's from. And it was a blizzard.
Mm.
And guess what?
What?
I went anyway. I trekked 9 miles through a blizzard in my car, which was total insanity. Met her mother at the door, and she said, "You're crazy." And I said, "I know." And we went roller skating.
In the blizzard?
Well, no, we didn't roller skate in the blizzard. We roller skated in the roller skating rink.
Oh, you went to learn.
Drove.
Have you...
Crazy.
Well, yeah, in a blizzard, I can only imagine. Now, had you been... knocking them back too, or you drove sober? Like, how was that?
No, I was drunk on love.
Uh, this is why I love you, man. This is like a therapy session for both of us, though.
Oh golly!
But no,
I
it's
went to the dentist yesterday, and I enjoyed it.
it's like what? How do you say it? What is like human nature to just want to be someplace because we have the fear of missing out. So we'll go through anything. Hail, pandemic, blizzard. I mean, we're just naturally inclined to do whatever we need to, despite the odds or despite what's out there.
FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of missing out.
And that's a relatively new term, but it's such a relevant term. You know, it's like, wow, it's so true. Fear of missing out.
Wow. You know what? That is an interesting point, because what am I missing out on, and why am I fearing missing out on? But you know, for me right now, it's fishing. Now all of a sudden I'm hooked. I'm a hooker.
But what do they call it? Hook, line, and sinker, right? That's what they call it.
Whatever. I mean, anyway, it's I've been enjoying. I went fishing twice yesterday.
See, you're doing it right. You're getting out and about. You're doing things. I'm still home, and I should be getting out more, but I'm just not yet. So.
And that has been bothering me about me, and it's why. You know, Janelle, that woman, Janelle Clark, taught me a long time ago to ask. We used to say, you know, I'll meet her at the why. Now I ask why.
Oh, wow.
Ask why. Why are people doing what they're doing right now in the streets?
You mean like protesting and yeah.
Well, that and yeah, and someone posted a video of some guy that got shot, some protester, by another protester maybe or something.
I've heard about that, and that was actually, I think, in New Mexico, wasn't it? There was something going on down there. By the way, in New Mexico, we now have social workers disarming non-gun-related criminal activity or incidents. Have you heard about this one? They're going to dispatch unarmed social workers to different cases so that police don't have a chance to escalate something, I guess. I mean, it really is showing a lack of faith in the cops by doing this. And it's a slap in the face, if you ask me.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I think I talked about this yesterday, or I don't know. I've been thinking about putting up, a 4x8 foot thingy that says, you know, it's got the American flag and love God with all your guts. We did talk about this, and love your neighbor as yourself. And I'm thinking, nah, maybe not. And then my wife said, well, why don't you put it on the one barn that can be seen from the road, and I can put my light on it and everything. Maybe I should. Maybe, you know, because God's word never comes back without accomplishing what it's sent out to do. That's what he says, and he can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a good thing to do. Maybe I need to put an effort into that.
Go for it. Now, what scripture or what message from God would you like to put out there for people?
That would be the first one. Love God with all your guts and your neighbor as yourself.
Oh, you've been really on that theme this week. It seems like love God with your guts. So it's probably telling me that you have gut feelings and you want these gut feelings to be out in the public now for your love of God.
Yeah, it is.
Hey,
it makes me sad. It really, what's going on right now in the world makes me sad. But again, other folks like, gee, you're an idealist, Mike. It's not going to happen. It may happen for that one person.
Mike, what did I say yesterday, by the way? By the way, this is where putting out these things could speak things into existence. Didn't I tell you I wish Trump would take the lead on police reform? I think I told you that. And I definitely saw it on my podcast. And then yesterday afternoon, he took the lead. So I'm like, what is going on through these microphones that are just making things happen? You're making things happen. Ed's making things happen.
Well, maybe it's not. Well, maybe God is working through us. There's a
I
song,
think so.
Called "We Are His Hands, We Are His Hands, We Are His People." And bringing, letting the light shine. Now it sounds so, I was going to say gay, but I can't even say that.
How is letting your light shine gay? I don't know. That just seems like a very normal thing to say.
Well, back in the day, you could use the gay 90s, right? I think it was 1890. What were when they had the gals with the? Never mind.
You mean like the 1920, the Roaring 20s? Is that what you're telling me about now?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
By the way, did you come into this year? See, I came into this year hoping the 20s would really be roaring. I didn't expect it in this way, though. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's not funny. The 20s are definitely not boring.
No.
And I have taken up fishing. Oh, and there's another song. Love. We've not been given a spirit of fear, but one of power and of love and a sound mind. Isn't that a beautiful scripture? I love that. I think I let Jesus down on the sound mind part, though. But he's good with me still.
He's good with everybody. I just wish people would understand that more, that he accepts us and gives us grace every day. It's just waking up and doing this is an act of God, in my opinion.
I don't know how good he is with the guy with the knee.
Oh, no, he's going to want hell for that guy. He's going to want hell for that guy.
Well, at least unless the guy turns. He still needs to do the crime, or the time for the crime. That's what people, you can be a follower of Jesus.
Right.
But you're still going to suffer the consequences of your actions. So don't just think, well, you can go do whatever or go do whoever, and think there's not going to be any repercussions. You end up with an STP.
Well, there's a lot to that. Not just the physical, but the emotional stuff. You get linked together, and it's like, do I really want this? Yep.
Yeah. You see, you know what? I was going to say something, but I won't.
Well, because I just can't get intimate unless I feel that connection. I just can't do it. There has to be a connection. And if it runs its course, it runs its course, but at least I didn't do it in vain, I guess you would say. I don't know. I just...
runs its course?
The relationship, the connection with someone you are intimate with. Either it's going to develop or it'll just...
You're talking the intercourse.
Well, we kind of were talking about that. I mean, that's kind of where I was coming from. Oh, where's Ed? He'd get a kick out of this today. Oh, man. But by the way... No, but what I was saying was, you can't... We are not built... Well, some are, I guess. But the majority of us are not built to do, like, the hookup culture in our 20s and think that that's okay. Like, I think people truly want something more meaningful than that. And... So be it then. So be it.
I wasn't at that time. I wasn't mature.
But I do think, but back then, I don't know. Is there a difference between back then and now with the hookup culture? I mean, you might know better than me. I don't know.
I just wanted to point out that I am mature now. I just want you to know that.
You are well-aged wine, I guess, then.
What was your question? Is it different now than back then?
Yeah, I mean, I just think the hookup culture is different now than it was maybe back in the older days or back then.
Well, yeah, I think our moral compasses have been a bit. I think the moral north has been moved to where we just don't really buy into maybe the God stuff and absolute truth and. If it feels good, do it. That's what you kind of sort of.
Well, that's the whole thing now. It's about the feelings. How are you feeling today? Which gender do you feel like today? And I'm not saying that is necessarily a well, I don't know. I kind of think it's a bad thing, to be honest. Not that they shouldn't be protected, but you know what I mean, though. I think he's literally holding up a screw. That's hilarious.
That is, and it's a big screw. And I use that to hold up my green screen.
Now,
Focus.
that one little screw holds up your green screen?
No, I didn't say this one.
I know, I'm
purchased a
kidding.
number of them. One. I think I have two. I have a third one. Alex.
I'm here. No, I'm just trying to think about this now. So it's like
I know you're here.
we're catering to feelings more than facts, I guess. And the fact now is that there are people who are practicing transgenderism that needs protection. I'm just going to say that outright. I mean, they need. When you see suicide rates are going up in that community, it's alarming. It is alarming.
Oh, I think protection is critical if you're practicing certain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez. Mike's a little wound up today. I could just tell it. He's very like.
No, actually, what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
If I were to say, you know what today's show is?
Tell me. Radio Hope, 9 a.m. Eastern.
That offends me. That bikini offends me. Take it off. No, it's just that offends me. I mean, you had mentioned what's his name, Elmer, lose his gun?
Yeah, I didn't mention it, but I've heard that Elmer has lost his gun because they don't want that. And, of course, you can't have a good police dog in Paw Patrol. So now they're going after the kids' shows, which is just...
Oh, you're kidding. See, I haven't kept up with it because it's so... You know what, Alex? It is so ridiculous that I don't want to waste my time. I'm going fishing. I'm going to catch me a bass that I can bring home and fillet and eat.
What's the biggest one you ever caught?
Be full of eggs. Oh, probably maybe 5-6 pounds.
That's
bass,
not
anyway.
big. I didn't know bass. I thought bass were like hundreds of pounds. I didn't realize they could be 6 pounds too.
No,
Oh, it's Porky Pig.
Anyway, no, seriously, focus. Dan, can I read something?
Yes, go for it. Please do.
That will probably offend some people. In my walks, every man I meet is my superior in some way, and in that I learned something from him. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love that. I love that saying. I am going to learn so much tomorrow having Todd Stevens here with doing this show. We're going to be talking about his new CD.
Nice.
And I have one of his songs up here. It's called Rapist. It is hard hitting, in your face, and Todd is a great. That's One More Murder is one of the songs on it. And it's about murder being hatred.
Yeah.
Words. Yeah. He's somebody who's he is an unorthodox follower of Jesus also.
I think that's good. I wish, I don't know how to say it, but I do wish that those Christians who aren't totally, I don't know how to say it, but I wish there were more people like you who embrace him but also know that you are needing his grace every day. I wish there were more people, doing shows like that.
Ooh, boy, do I ever. When you say something like, and I know you've chastised me for it, and rightfully so, because to say something to somebody, if I had COVID-19, that's not really funny.
No.
That's really not humorous. And yet I had said that I think I've said that to 2 people, and thank goodness I knew them well enough that they said, you know what? I can laugh at that. Because they get it, because they get me. And not everybody gets me. And then you got to be careful because not everybody's going to understand your sense of humor.
My favorite song of all time, Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. I love that song.
Please don't let me...
Yep, you got it. But to your point, I mean, humor is going to be... Humor is what is keeping people alive today. Let's be honest. if you're able to find the funny things of whatever the hell's going on out there, you're going to be okay because at least you can add some humor to it. And that's a great defensive mechanism from the world. It's like, all right, well, this is happening, but this is hilarious. Why not do play-by-play of the rioting? I mean, this is funny if you think about it, you know? It's just like...
You're a funny man.
It's true, though.
I know it is. It's true.
By the way, speaking of killing all the fun, Quaker Oats has now said Aunt Jemima is racist. So, can I tell you the story? The Aunt Jemima brand of syrup and pancake mix will get a new name and change, Quaker Oats announced Wednesday, saying the company recognizes the Aunt Jemima's origins are based on a racial stereotype. Oh, so it was a 130-year-old brand featuring a black woman named Aunt Jemima, who was originally dressed as a minstrel character.
As a what?
The minstrel character. Do you know that? Yeah.
Minstrel.
Yep.
Menstrual character.
And by the way, this is the freaking second time that I know of that a woman, even if it's on a bottle of syrup, a woman has been canceled. Do you remember what happened last year? Kate Smith was not allowed to be played at Yankee Stadium because her songs. It's like what we talked about the other day. How come we can't air something of someone's beautiful singing and forget everything else they might have done? We cannot do that anymore. And I think that'll be another downfall. And was when we can't let go of it and we just deprive people of what they created based on one or two songs. I don't know. It doesn't equate to me.
Well, I think what it does is show the incredible hypocrisy of human beings. I mean, Martin Luther, the great reformer, also was anti-Semitic.
See now,
a real problem with Jews.
That I did not know, and I'm actually Lutheran, but
I bet you you know what? I bet you're more Christian than Lutheran.
I'm just a believer. I'm
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Just go with it. I remember when I was used to be one of the Gideons handing out those little, as somebody referred to it at Iowa State University, those little bastard Bibles. They called them bastard Bibles. Yeah, because they were so, I don't know why. Anyway, and I was handing them out, and I went against the grain. I didn't have the official Gideon garb on. I had on, I don't know, red tennis shoes and a pink tie, The kids were drawn to me. And I remember one kid saying, so what religion are you? And I said, I'm Christian. He said, no, I mean, what religion? Are you Methodist? Are you? And that spoke volumes. What religion are you? Religion is, I got offended by religion. I got a short feature up here with Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, of course, Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron.
Anyway, and it's about, if you're offended, if you start talking to somebody about God stuff, and they say, I really don't want to hear it, are they offended because of what they've seen other Christian folk, or are they offended by the gospel?
All right, you're going to be a little freaked out right now. Hold on 1 second. This was at my radio studio.
Okay.
Look who that is.
Where?
That's Kirk Cameron.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. Wait a minute. Where's the moist towelettes when I need them? That is so cool. I love it. That is so, you know what? There's times when I listen to Kirk.
Yes, Kirk Cameron.
With K. When I listen to Kirk and his sidekick, and I love his street evangelism. I've got all kinds of spots of him talking to just folks out on the streets. And that is so cool that you got that. Anyway, focus, Mike. Oh, I'm so excited.
And by the way, her sister, I mean, that whole family, right? You got the sister and him running the Christian movie world, it seems like. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Candace Cameron, I think is her name, or Candace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Candace Bure, I guess is her name now, because she got married, so.
I think that is just so cool.
I should bring him back on. I don't know what he's up to these days, but I'm sure he's got a lot to say on the COVID stuff, and everything going on.
It would be very interesting, yeah. And I also have a show on every day called Red Wretched Radio that he's a part of.
Oh, wow. And you have that airing at what time on your regular stream?
Oh, guess what? I can even answer that and answer it with tremendous accuracy. 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day. It's called Wretched Radio with freakishly tall Todd Friel.
Muckradio.com, right? That's the thing?
You are you're too good for me.
Although I did see one of your sites had .org on it. I'm not sure which one that is, but...
.org would be MikeMyers.org.
Okay.
We got MikeMyers.org. It's a nonprofit. It's definitely non-profit.
So much so, there's literally no profit.
There is no profit. I have songs about profits. Liar, lunatic, or Lord is a great song about Christ. He's either a liar, he's out of his mind, or he's who he says he is. Liar, lunatic, or Lord.
Well, that's the whole thing back then. It's like they all looked at him crazy, and yet he was doing things.
His family thought he was crazy.
Well, his family didn't they at one point not want anything to do with him or something? I don't know. It's like, yeah, I think that's what happened.
He's quite a character. You know, he has staying power.
Yes. Yep.
There's something about that name. I mean, you don't hear people say Muhammad. Nope, they say Jesus. Oh, you know him too? I used to do that. What do you think of this? Let's say you're sitting at the bar and somebody says, and then you say, you know, he's my Lord and Savior, and I would really appreciate you not use his name. Oh, please, people. They don't know any better. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. I do, and I still do.
All right, I heard a podcast, while we're on this topic, I heard a podcast from you about that shirt you got that said God, not damn, or something like that.
God's last name isn't damn it.
I love that shirt. I don't know how I could get one, but that sounds so cool.
Oh, I started wearing that after I came to Jesus.
And how many times before you did that? Do you still say the words? Do you still say that sometimes or no?
Does it come out of my mouth? No. Do I sometimes think it in my head? Yes. And that's why I'm so glad I'm still forgiven. But there's something about that name. You know, we talk about bending the knee, and I did that one show. One day every knee will bow and every tongue will confess.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend you do it now instead of being forced later. Because you didn't respond to the truth, and it's like, and I think it's pride. I don't know what it is, because he chooses us, we don't choose him. That's what's amazing. Why would did he choose me because I'm such a buck Egypt?
Because you're a good orator, a good talker, so he uses your platform to get the word out.
My wife tells me,
Michael, I can't believe it's 8:30 already. We've been talking for 15 minutes, and it's like a nice flow here. Michael, to your point on all of that, I have a better term to say if I'm ever frustrated. I try and say God bless it instead of the other. So that's kind of where I come. We have to sort of put that spin on it. God bless it, not God damn it.
But what are you? Okay, if that works for you.
It does. It makes me feel a little better that I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, God bless it. We need to get things fixed around here.
And what I might say is, I said it yesterday, son of a motherless goat, when I was at the dentist's office.
You must be kidding me.
I had a great experience at the dentist's office yesterday. The gal had a brain fart, and I said, you know what? That's the first one that I could smell. I so enjoyed I got a new dentist lady, and they fixed my crown and crowned him with many crowns.
Only you would enjoy the dentist, right? I love the dentist myself. He's such a great dude. The guy I have as my dentist, so he's nice. The cleaning's a pain, but then it's worth it in the end. So
I get it. It's a pain.
It's a drill and it's scraping and it's like Ever seen? Okay.
Here's here's why I made a mistake. This one gal, her name's Fallon. She's no longer there, but she was getting ready to start working on my teeth, doing the cleaning, where they do the scaling. And I asked her, there was a picture of her and holding her daughter and with her husband. And I said, "Oh wow, are you pregnant in that picture?" She wasn't. She said, "I got sharp, sticky things in your mouth right now."
You ever think voodoo is going on with you from someone else that you don't even know about? Like someone's putting a hex on us sometimes?
I think that's a strange thought. I think you might consider medication. No, not really. Huh? I've never. That's gonna mess my day up. Thanks, man.
You don't have to be paranoid about it. I'm just curious if you ever feel that energy of someone sticking in the pin with...
Do you?
No, thank God, no.
Oh. Okay. Do you ever feel like sticking a fish hook through your toe?
No, I have never thought of that. Why would I think of that?
I don't know. Same reason why you said, did you ever feel like people were sticking pins in you, like you're a voodoo? That's just weird. Alex, do you need a therapist?
Maybe, I don't know. But no, I'm just saying.
I think let's just keep doing this. We're therapeutic for each other.
We really are, though. So you did your video, right? Just double checking the checklist of the day. You did your video? Good.
Yeah.
See, because I get up at 7:50 and I don't even see the wall. I just go right into podcast mode. It's like a thing.
I have a definite schedule, different regimen.
And folks, when I wake up late, Mike Myers' day is thrown off entirely. So now I try to not do that to him anymore.
No. It's not anymore. I don't allow you to have that kind of control in my life.
That's good. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize I had control of your life, but
you did until I decided that I wasn't going to let you have that anymore. Because it's not all about you. It's all about me, myself, and I. As I become more others-focused every day.
I don't know if I should talk about this next thing because it is bothering me. But I don't want it. I don't know.
Isn't it interesting that God says the person that can control his tongue is the perfect man, let alone your thoughts. But right now, you have the ability to make the choice of whether you're going. And I think it's neat. But then to have that kind of discipline
right.
is something that sometimes I lack. And I say things that's like, did I really just say if I had COVID? Did I really just say what I did about my wife? And did I really just say, yeah, I did? Oh, Lord.
No, it's just that sometimes I was just told yesterday.
Are you sure you want to talk about this?
I don't know. No, let's move on because I don't know how to generalize it. But just, someone went in my messages, a friend of mine, he's disappointed in me, he thinks I don't understand the full grasp of why they're tearing down statues and all that. And I'm just like, I responded, I said, look, I don't appreciate that you think of me as so low right now. Like, why are you putting me down to size? And then he hasn't responded yet. So I'm a little nervous that it was like a hit and run venting, and then he doesn't come back to say, oh, okay, well, I get you now.
Wow, I think you're bringing up a really neat point. And is that what's meant by dialogue, or is that kind of, what does Rush call that, the drive-by media? I mean, to drive by and yell, racist at somebody, because why? Did you see the picture of the guy that I guess was cracking his knuckles, and somebody took a picture of it and they assumed that he was giving the white power, I don't know, is it like this?
Okay, see that whole thing, we used to do that hand signal for years. It used to be like an A-OK. When did it become something else,
Well, and that's the insanity of all of it. it's. Did you fart or did you fart in my general direction? I don't know. I didn't have a windsock on it at the time. I wasn't aiming things.
Now, there might be a thing where people purposely, and then there's another thing about that too.
This is crazy.
There was an old joke, or there's a joke out there where someone does that little sign and puts it in its crotch area and says, "See, I made you look." It's like a game to some people.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Of course, I remember that.
Somebody, and if it was below, I think if it was below the belt or something, and as kids, what we would do is if you went like this,
Mm-hmm.
if you broke it, you got to punch him in the shoulder. We did the dumbest things. You know, like, hey, is your meat loafing? Not anymore.
Oh, no.
Dumb things. Purple nurples. Don't ever threaten your wife.
But that is another thing that these kids today are missing. It's all about the cell phone for these kids. I mean, I'll never forget one time I was in the waiting room to see my pediatric urologist, I think it was. 2-year-old, give it an iPad to play on. It's like, what is this? I mean, come on. Maybe by you see kids outdoors, but I don't even really see kids outdoors having as much fun as we did when we were kids.
No, and there is a video floating around that talks about, hey, there was lead paint on the windowsill, and I remember kind of chewing on it, waiting for my dad to show up because he was supposed to come and visit us because my mom and him had separated or divorced, and many times he didn't show up. You just got to the point where it's like, consider the source. If he says he's coming over to take us fishing, good chance he isn't, but that's okay. So what did that have to do with what you just said? Just kids having fun. It's time to come in because the street lights came on, or you just go ahead and keep playing football in the street with the street lights on and hope that nobody gets hurt.
Oh, football and anything in the streets. I mean, I used to run clinics across the street on the sidewalk in front of my neighbors across the street.
Clinics?
Oh, yeah, hitting clinics. So I'd sit on the ground, or I'd stand up, throw a ball, hit it with my crutch, and I had competitions to see if we could hit it over this wall that was like a few feet away. I got so much fun out of that because I was hitting it and the kids were playing with my crutch and then hitting it. It was just such a cool moment there. So that was nice.
Well, and I really appreciate what you're bringing up because it reminds me when I was a little squirt.
Mm-hmm.
Not that little squirt. Let's see. I started out as a little squirt. Anyway.
When you were the 50-year-old little squirt. No, just kidding.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know where you were going with that. I was just waiting for you to see where you were going to go with that.
Well, I was at Wilson's Tap one day and talking to this lady, and she said the best part of her ran down her dad's leg. That's really over the top. I can't believe I said that. But anyway, as a kid, I used to set up speakers on the porch.
Okay.
And kids would show up and they would sit in the yard and I'd play DJ. I mean, I just love radio.
That's so cool.
It's geeky, but there would be 6, 7, 8. Oh, and then I used to have kind of like a summer kids club where these youngsters would come over, and it was like a free babysitting service.
Wow.
And nowadays, if you say, well, I really like being around little kids, I don't think we should have Mr. Myers around our child because he really likes being around little kids. We're living in twisted times.
We are.
It really does. And integrity is something that is crucial. It's critical.
Mm-hmm.
Your yes be yes, your no be no, and I don't know. How did we get on this subject?
I love that you did DJing for the kids when you were like young. That's so cool. Little Mike Myers out there doing DJing. How old were you?
Oh, I don't know, probably 8, 9, 10.
So at a very early age, you knew how to operate the boards and the system. How did you learn it so fast?
The boards.
Yeah, you're
I didn't
bored of
really have a,
DJing.
I didn't really have a board. Not like I have a little. I have a couple of boards. Huh. But focus, you can do it. And to get to do this is like a dream. And my wife encourages me to do this. She knows it's good for me to do this. She's been watching the videos, and again, these videos are scary, especially the ones I throw up on Facebook. The number of views, but I'm realizing if there's that many people viewing that, I really need to take advantage of that time and make sure that I'm not just being a total goofball. Get a good message out there. Like, that offends me.
And then you, of course, promote the pod, right? I mean, your podcast, you promote it on the same video, or?
But the listenership on the podcast is really sucky right now, which is okay. It's okay.
Well, here's the thing. You have to... It's just that I don't share mine enough. Like, I should share every day, but I just don't because I want to make sure they know I'm doing work. So I just do this and then not even post it until later. But to me, that's the only way.
Why you do that?
That's the only reason. And that's one of the only ways I feel you can get. Because people will watch Facebook. They're not subscribed to our podcast per se. So they won't know exactly when we're on. But if you are in their face on their Facebook feed, they sure as heck would see that.
And I'm really excited about tomorrow because Todd Stevens is somebody who Todd is just a great guy, and he loves Jesus. He's been through the crap of a lot of stuff in life, the alcohol and drugs and who knows what else, and he's somebody who knows that without Christ he'd probably be dead. And I feel the same way, and I appreciate the Alcoholics Anonymous. So basically, these stories in here are basically testimonies, and we Christian folk don't share our testimonies as much because maybe we don't think that it means anything, and yet maybe it will. I mean, maybe if we get that intimate with other people, when I say intimate, spiritually speaking,
right?
I mean, when you pray, if somebody's never really got into praying, but I remember a lady across the street, Alice. She was at the nursing home, and I used to say to my wife, "I'm going to go see Alice." She said, "See Alice? I thought you were taking." Anyway, neat lady, but she was really shut off by God stuff. And I remember one day I asked her, and she flat out told me one day. She said, "I don't want to hear any more about your Jesus and your Bible." Well, I remember one day I asked if I could pray for her, and she said yes.
Wow.
And I got on my knee and I held her hand, and we were both in tears. And that's not me that would typically do something like that. She ended up, she kind of lost the drive to stay alive, and eventually, passed on. I hope she knows Jesus. It's above my pay grade. I hope she knew the love of, if nothing else, the people know the love of Christ from his kids. That's what I need to be focusing on. That was good.
And I want to bring you back to something that you were saying earlier about the cop, whether he's going to look for forgiveness from him, and I think he will. I think prison will change him, maybe more so than ever before.
And many people have those moments in prison where it happens.
Now, that is not to say proclaimed Christians could also do something horrible. I mean, we're all liable to do something no matter what. Whether we do believe, whether we don't believe, we're all liable.
But by the grace of God go I. So if I start thinking, oh, that could never happen, I would never do that, Michael, you are too full of yourself. You don't know when you might just totally crack and do something that people would say, well, he was such a good Christian man. That's why I got to walk tight with him. I mean, it's critical. He's the way, the truth, and the life. So for me to have life, I got to stay tight with Jesus.
And you do, in your own way. You stay tight with Jesus. But I would say the problem also is that when Christians do one thing, all the Christianity is smeared. And I'm like, no, that's not every Christian out there.
Isn't it the same thing with the cops?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And as we nothing against pigeons, but how we pigeonhole people? Pigeonhole? Poop. Sorry.
Well, and now there's a lot of, more criticism on Black Lives Matter, the protesters. Look, the people protesting probably generally want to do it, but I always am leery of the organizers, of how they're organizing it, instead of just what their motives are besides peaceful protesting.
And that's what it comes down to. What's the motivation? Why do I wear this hat?
It's a Trump hat, by the way, for those who don't know.
Because I know people find this offensive. Well, I am sorry if you find that offensive. There are things that I find offensive, and it's like, get over it, Mike. So you're offended. 1-800-WHAM-WHAM.
1-800 keep scrolling in this day and age, right?
1-800 keep scrolling. I am best off staying away. And yet there's this sick addiction to want to see what's going on in the world on Facebook. And that's where I want to, what is up with that?
But it gets it's more tenuous when you actually post something and you click it over and over to see if anybody's reacted to it yet. I mean...
And that's why I need to go fishing.
And throw the phone in the water for a little bit.
I am so excited about, in fact, when I said to my wife last night, after I'd been fishing, after I went to the dentist's office, I ended up getting home later than normal. And went from the dentist's office, yeah. Anyway, focus. And then last night, after I took a shower, I said, this is going to sound weird, but I want to go fishing again. And I did, and it was a beautiful old farm pond about a mile from where I live, and didn't catch anything, but had a talk with a young man, and it was very pleasant, very cool.
You know what I love about fishers is they end up bringing like 2 or 3 rods out there to try and catch on different reels. It's kind of interesting to watch them. One guy's got it here, the same guy's got it over here. Like they put it in different locations to try and pull one out. I love that. It's just a fun thing to see.
Well, you just said something that just made me go, duh. I've got a couple of poles. I got 3. And one thing I don't like doing because I can't see as well as I used to is having to remove and tie on a different type of lure.
Okay.
Lure.
Bait.
I've got 3 poles. Why don't you just, you dim-twit, just have each, well, let me try this one. I'm going to got one that collapses like this so I can so I can put it in the trunk of my motorcycle.
That's so cool. I would go fishing here in New York if I could, but I don't have that. I did see something cool the other day. It looked like piranhas going after a piece of brine or something. And I'm like, wow, this is the park I'm next to is so filled with nature. It's interesting to look at.
It's full of piranhas?
Are those little things that swim around?
I don't know that they're piranhas. They might just be little guppies.
Maybe it's the guppies, but they were definitely like this organism going after a piece of what looked like brine, and it was very cool to watch him try and move. You literally see these little guys moving this big piece of whatever through the thing, and I'm like, I've never seen this before. Clearly, I don't get out that much, so.
Well, I hope that you are able to get out a little bit more before, I hate to put it this way, but, life is precious, and for me, it's like, am I gonna, I've been spending way too much time being down and a bit depressed and in bed, which is a sign that I got stuff I need to get taken care of.
What'd you play? You play it all the time, taking care of business. That's what you got to do.
And in life, to get out. Now this Roy guy, I need to get a hold of him again. He said, people talk about going fishing. And I've been fishing how many times since then, and this guy just wants a friend to go fishing with.
So you could be that friend for him.
Yeah, and my mom wants to be a friend of that guy that saw her fill up her bowl with soup that she'd just eaten.
Aw. Hey, is your mom beloved in the town? You know, like, does everybody know her or know of her? Or...
Yeah, she's, I don't know if my little brother's okay with this, but she's kind of a poster child of hope on Facebook.
Mm.
My mom she's going to be moving soon. Same place, but moving. And I'm excited about that. And,
Not back to your place, though, right? Just a different center?
No, and actually, you know what's interesting? If she were to come over here, she wanted to come over and just stay for a night or two after she had a short hospital stay. But she still had to do the 14 days
Right.
of isolation. And I'm realizing a nursing home, isolation, oh boy, this is like a double negative thing.
It would be. I mean, because you never know what could happen. I don't know. Just.
But where was I going with this? I forget.
So they isolate her, though, right? Like they isolate her from the others that might have it. Is that how that would go?
Yeah, and if there's a possibility, here's the kicker: if there's a possibility that you have it, which is pretty much everybody, there's the possibility that they have it or have had it. Oh, did you just cough?
As we were talking about this, I just coughed. So perfect timing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so then she is required to be in 14 days of isolation. Only one nurse has to be the same one every time. Can be in the room. She has to put on a mask. And so it's real. When I went to the dentist yesterday, I had to fill out this form, and they asked if I had been exposed to somebody that had tested positive. I said, yeah. I said, oh, how long ago? I said, well, it's 2 months. Well, write that down. But I said, since then, have I? I don't know. Do you have it? Well, no.
We don't know, and I'm not testing. I'm not getting tested right now because I don't want that on my conscience either. So.
All right, I gotta go.
You literally do. It's 5 minutes there. Radio Hope, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll see you there. Michael, love you, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Leave meeting. Leave.
Well, so here's my final thought today. My last thought. My last thought is Quaker oats should not be boycotted for this, which I'm sure that movement will start. But at the same time, we can't even keep pancakes sacred anymore. Pancake syrup. And I immediately thought to another thing that was totally blitzed by the cancel culture, which would be To Kill a Mockingbird. If you remember, that book, and J.D. Salinger, I think her name was blitzed for their views. And so a classic like To Kill a Mockingbird was sort of shelved, and I'm like, what is going on? But wouldn't you know it, in that story, what I remember the most is when the kid is pouring all that syrup out, and Scout goes, he's putting syrup on all the syrup on the food. And Gregory Peck, as Atticus Finch, calmly said, well, Scout, this is what, he accepted him for all the syrup. So why can't we accept Aunt Jemima? Why can't we just let things be? Just like why couldn't we let the, how do we say it? The planet of Pluto be minimized. How do we let that happen? It shouldn't. And I hope one day we can reinstate Aunt Jemima. I hope one day we can reinstate Pluto. Because literally everything is being torn down. It's up to us to either rebuild it or let it from completely collapsing. I'm Alex Garrett. We'll talk to you tomorrow.